Hey everybody, it's Rajesh here.
And Tane here.
Welcome to our podcast, Baskets of Knowledge, Chats with a Difference. In our podcast, we invite guests from around the country and around the world to talk about how they got to where they're at the moment. It's about a journey, it's about an experience, it's about their life. Kia ora koutou, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Baskets of Knowledge. Today, you just hit me. Tani is away doing something very exciting with his sister. So we wish him well with that there. And as always, we start the podcast thinking about what we've put into our basket since we last spoke. And over the last week, the thing that I put into my basket is when we are born, we look like our parents, and when we die, we look like our choices. And I think about that. That was a really powerful quote that someone said to me, and I was like, "This is really true," because every single day we make choices in life, and depending on those choices, we're either healthy, unhealthy, we're not successful. So the next time you think about that, think about the choice when you're towards the end of your life. What choices have you made to get to where you are? So that's something for you to think about and ponder about, and maybe that might come through in our podcast today as we speak to our guests. And our guest today, I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. This is someone that I connected with a few years ago quite randomly, very, very randomly. I was invited to go to a call from one of my other clients to come to see us to a talk. She appeared on our guest's podcast or show, and that was it. That was many years ago, and I said to them, "Oh, one day I'd like to work with you at some point." Forgot about it. And as you know, history happens and life happens, and then boom, this guest actually became my mentor over the last few months in the world of speaking that I do. And not only are they a mentor, but when I look at what they do and listen to their story, I'm like, wow, this is someone that has really done a lot to get to where they are. And it'll be pretty awesome for them to share a bit of their story, but also for you to maybe connect with them at some point once you acknowledge their story and listen to what they've got to say. So it is my honor, my privilege, and really excited to invite two Baskets of Knowledge, Amit Khanna. Welcome, Amit.
Thank you so much. Yes, very interesting way we connected. And thank you so much for a lovely introduction. Really.
No worries, Amit. It's all true. Amit, for people who don't know who you are, who is Amit today on the 7th of September, 2025?
7th of September 2025, Amit is a proud father, a loving husband, and someone who is trying to make an impact, small one, but still, in the world of corporate employees, helping them to understand office politics, communication, leadership, and while doing it in a diplomatic way as well. So
Beautiful. That's where you're today. That's where you are today. I love how you started off. Most people start off with their title, but you went straight to what's really important in life, because titles can come and go, but being a father, being a husband is, something that is really, really beautiful, and it's something that no one can take away. Your jobs can go, but that's something that's always going to be with you no matter what happens in life. But if we rewind a bit and if we fast forward, and I said to Amit when he was, say, in high school or in early part of his life, "Hey, Amit, in 2025, you are going to be a successful person living in Australia." What would you have said to us at that point in time?
I would surely have laughed a lot. And the reason is, if I rewind me back in my early teens, or during my school and high school, to be very honest, I didn't know who was I back then, for two reasons. Number one, so I've been a very pampered child. All right, that's thing. Second is that I never knew my own limitations or my own self in terms of education. So what I'm saying is that I was defined or labeled by others. And that's what I had been agreed upon in my head. So back then, it was informed, told, rather than asked or updated and stuff, right? So here's my label. My label was that I'm a dumb student. and I'll not venture into anything good, I'll probably be a big burden. So that
Yeah.
was,
And you know what's really important, Amit, is if we think about human psychology, from 0 to 6, children take on the world from around them. From 6 to 12, they mimic everything, and then from then onwards, they either fight it or they accept it. And it's interesting how the labels, whether they're good or bad, start defining who we are. And as you said before, it was given to you. You didn't ask for this, but somebody said to you one day, "Hey, Amit, you are a dumb student," and you believed it because nothing else around the world said anything else.
yeah, yeah. And that's exactly what it was because, uh, and I don't know, it was that time. And, back then it was a different generation, different thought process. Imagine no phones and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So back then it's still competitive, but there's always a concept of comparison, right? And comparison has created many amazing things whereas broken as well. So I was in that broken section where I was compared to somebody whom I still love and like most. He's a very good friend of mine, still date. But because of this thing of education being compared, I was dumb compared to him. And that became a stigma in my head. And I'm like, what the hell? Why should I even put efforts now? I'm dumb. Let's take it like that and continue.
Yeah, and you know what I like there is we always think about comparison as a bad thing, but I love how you said sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes comparison can be a good thing depending on how you frame it. Yeah. And when did you realize that actually, hey, this label of dumb is actually not you? How old was it? Or was it a moment of realization?
Yeah, it took me 13 years.
Yeah.
The realization happened in the final year of my graduation, where this is a very interesting story. So, because I was labeled into the dumb category, I also, now that friend, we got departed after the 10th. So, his uni and my uni was different. His field was different. Mine was different. And we stopped comparing. But that thought process of me being a little silly was always there. Right. So I also attracted that kind of people around me. So that gave an impression of me in the uni that, he's like a useless kind of a child. So this happened in the final year of my BSc. So I'm a bachelor's in science, physics graduated person. So I went for my college professors had a separate tuition that they had started. So I took a fee from my aunt and I went to them and I was like, all right, I want to join your tuition. And there I am in the physics head of department's room in the entire, with all the teachers. And this guy actually insulted me, saying that I'm not going to get a student like you to join my tuition to make an impact, to put a bad mark on everyone.
Oh,
And
wow.
my God, that's huge. All right. So at that time, there was a feeling of revenge, right? So how do you take revenge? The one way is, of course, go and beat him up, but that's not me. So the other way is that, all right, you know what? I'm gonna beat him up by passing it.
Yeah.
Okay, better. And I did. To my surprise, that 73 people sat for the exam, 26 passed. I was one of them, and without paying the tuition fee and all. And that was the year that I realized, oh my God, all I'm missing is the effort in the right direction. That's all. And I can do anything. And yeah, my life changed after that.
What a crazy moment of realization. Really interesting. I met a lot of our guests that have come on have said the same thing that somebody in their life had said to them, "You can't do this," or "You're not good enough," or whatever it was. And through some crazy coincidence, each one of those guests have basically said, "Oh, we want to prove you wrong," whether it's straight away or not. And that proving of wrong has been their basically sliding doors moment where they've changed their whole life because they go, "Wait a minute, I was limited by another person's perception of me, and it's just changed their whole life."
Yeah.
And what is it like for you and your now because that realization is really massive because as you said you hold this feeling of dumb your whole life, then you pass. What does your world look like then?
So now, so when I started, like the first thing that I realized that, oh my God, I can do many things. So I started to study. So it's very weird that I actually never studied or like, so when you study something for your uni and your when you're in your graduate, you study and you remember things, right? I don't remember anything because I studied for just passing. Okay,
Yep.
so then my inquisitiveness began, like, oh my God, I don't know anything. 21 years have passed by and I'll do everything. So I did that. I did a lot of certifications that I needed for my technical stuff and this and that. I did my master's degree. Uh, I'm I did my diploma in human psychology because I was so fascinated with all that. And I still read, study, uh, but it changed everything for me. I think that thing changed everything. It's
And
just
sorry.
no. I was just gonna say that on to your point, right? That the moment when someone insults you and stuff, it just wonders. Sometimes I really wonders that why that moment, why it didn't happen earlier to prove my parents wrong or to prove my other teachers wrong. I don't know why, but it happened at that particular age. I don't know.
And sometimes, the universe, and whether we believe it or not, just has it at that point in time. This is when it's meant to happen for you. And, the learnings, if it had happened earlier, maybe life would have been very different for you, or later, but different for you. You just never know, as you say. You just never know.
Yeah, true. I agree.
And it's really interesting, you spoke about just now, you said you've done all these certifications and you keep doing that there. And it just before I jumped on, I just again jumped onto your LinkedIn profile. And one of the things that really caught me was the quote that you put there is by Einstein, which is once you stop learning, you start dying. And it sounds like this is something you've just taken on board as a mantra for your life.
Yeah, I think, same thing, right? So I'll tell you what happened with me again. So once I got after this, in whatever 21 and onwards, so I started studying and this and that. But again, I came to a point where, I think I became a bit egoistic as well, right? And I truly believe in that. And then came another. So in my life, there has been people who have come in my life to teach me certain valuable things. So there was another colleague who came into my life. uh, I think I was in my 30s back then, and he was younger to me. uh, but man, he changed my thought process. This guy, his name is Kiran, and he came and he taught me the true meaning of the growth mindset. Okay. And how I should be focused on gaining knowledge and learning and other things. So that opened a very different world for me. And yeah, I completely agree. Now, I think what fascinates me now is the fact that there are so many things in this world about, like, if I take leadership, for example, right? There's like a hundreds and thousands of books written on it. Everyone has a different perspective, thoughts, this, that, experience. And it's so amazing to read and learn about it. So yeah, I truly believe in what I've mentioned there, that, if you stop it, you just pause everything.
And I love that take. I mean, I love that take so much because this is again coincidence. This morning I was listening to a podcast with Trevor Noah, and it really links right back to what you've just said about you meeting people in your lives, like Kieran. And one of the things that really stood out for me was they said that life is about us meeting our teachers. Life does not have built-in meaning. And when you find the teachers along the way, this is when life starts having some meaning. And that really goes back to what you just said before, as you said before, you are living your life, ego comes in, and then somebody comes to teach you, actually, wait a minute. And it's important for us to look for those teachers around us, because they're there.
Yeah. Yeah,
They're there all the
certainly.
time.
Certainly. Yeah, absolutely.
And how did you start? So, you physics, technical skills, this is your world. And as you said at the start, you shifted into the world of corporates. How did you actually, wait a minute? I want to start making impact a little bit differently. Again, because it's so different. You have a technical background. Some people just stick to I'm an engineer. This is my jam, and now you've
Yeah.
shifted quite dramatically.
Yeah. No, the reason I was smiling is because, I like physics. All right. And in physics, I was very fascinated with the atoms, so nuclear part of it, and a bit of Einstein theory. Now, just for your viewers, like I said, I was a very pampered child, single child to my parents. but I lost my father at 15 and I lost my mother as well later on. So it had been a tough financial upbringing for me. So the reason I say this is because I couldn't pursue masters in further. Okay, we didn't have money. I had to go and do it some job. So when I got into we have this, what do you call it, post graduation, right? So I went and did my post graduation in computers because, hey, you need a money, and money is in computers. And I'm talking 2000, right? Year
Yeah.
2000, 2000. So while doing, so everything was fine when I was learning all the initial stuff. When I came to Java, the language, and I got a test that I have to do something in code, and I that is the realization. I'm like, all right, I can't code. Amit, let's agree that you just do not know how to code. And that was a defining moment for me. And I'm very happy that I got that realization back then that I can't code like a coder. Okay. So that's where it realized that, okay, I can do. So then there is two types of work, right? One is you code like a website, and the other is that you work on that website. Correct.
Oh,
So I realized that I can work on the tools that are created for IT rather than creating the tools.
yeah.
So this was my breaking factor. And then I also learned that I can speak up, I can connect.
Yeah.
Well, I did my post graduation in Kolkata, so that's a city in India. So there it was, since I come from Mumbai, I was considered as a flamboyant boy because I was able to speak to everyone, and people like, oh my God. And I think because I've been working since age 15, right? So I was a little
Yeah.
street. So that gave me that edge in communication. That gave me that edge that, okay, you know what, Amit, I can talk and I can back this knowledge of IT and I can use that in talking. That was the whole gist of it. So for me personally, it hadn't been a difficult journey in this that, oh, you know what I'm doing. For me, it was day one, you can talk, Amit. Go and do that. I'm like, all right.
And it's so good when you lean into your passion. Lots of us have the passion, but we don't lean into it. We just say, no, 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 no. I need to get my technical skills up. And I was smiling because you are a mirror image of what I did, but a different way, because I also did a computer science degree and I could not code. I could do HTML, blah. And when we Java and C, I was like, this is not my world. But because I wanted to, my parents had paid all this money, and I was like, oh, I felt guilty, so I just finished my degree. And it's really funny, 20 odd years now, I think I was like, why did I waste my time? Because that was not what I wanted to do. I never coded in my life after that day. I was like you, I found communication, da, 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 da. But it's interesting how you, again, the label of the fear of, oh, if I don't finish this, what are my parents going to say, my peers say? But I love how you just leaned into the communication. And it's taken you around the world, hasn't it? It's opened up lots of opportunities for you.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I think this is my seventh country that I am in right now. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
and let's touch on that because viewers are interested in when you move to different countries. What is one of the I'm going to ask you, what is one of the awesomest things that you find in your countries, and one thing that you find the most difficult?
oh. So I think what I loved about, so I'm that person, remember, who is, so just to give you a background. So I flew first time to US. This is back in 2006. And I was working for Donald Trump's casino, which is Trump Taj in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Uh, Closed now. And so I am, I think, age 28 or something, maybe. And this is the first time I ever sat in a plane, like
Wow.
ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Not even domestic. Because we couldn't afford it, I've never been in a plane. So imagine a guy who has never gone in the flight ever flies for the first time straight to United States. All right. So that's a
Well,
big thing for me. And so secondly, I come from Mumbai. So people who know how Mumbai works, it is basically crowded trains and all that. So now I'm going to United States, first time in the flight. It's very different for me. So I think my first experiences were oh my God, I am in this beautiful place. I am being respected. When I walk on the roads, people are not there to bum me down. I know people in India would like to hear this, but that's a fact. Okay.
Yeah,
That's where the first time I realized that, oh, I'm a human being. That, people don't want to kill me. And I was very happy. And of course, there's a lot of other things as well. But what happened? So then after that, I've been to many places. I've been to China, Bangladesh, Philippines, in Sweden, Australia, and maybe a couple of more for a job perspective. And of course, then
yes,
I've
yes,
traveled other places, right?
yes,
So I think what I really like now is I love to travel because, and I love to eat. You can see by my me. So the thing that I love the most is how do these culture function? And I'm of a person who believes in, if I'm in a particular country, I will adapt the culture of that country, right? So be in their home, respect their home, kind of a
yes.
guy. So that has put me in a very well position all the time. So the first question that I always ask to somebody whom I'm a little acquainted is that what are the things that I should not say?
Yeah,
So this way I know that, and people have told me in certain countries that you should not say this or that. Okay. So that's one. Second is there's always the food that binds me everywhere. So the food culture is the second thing that fascinates me uh, about a new country.
yeah,
And within the country, there are then states and other things, and each has their own flavors and stuff. So
yeah. And those are the good things. What are the hardest thing though? So those are all the good things. What is the hardest thing when you
hardest things is a how sometimes it is difficult to grab their accent. I'll
yeah,
not deny that. So southern accents of any country has been a challenge.
yeah,
All right. Uh, so that's one thing. Second is that there are certain nuances that they do at work, and that is a little challenging as well.
yeah,
The other things that generally bothers, not bothers, is difficult is like, you are now disconnected from India, so you don't get to connect like the festivals and all those things that happens many times.
yeah,
But if I'm with my family, for me, it's because I've been a loner, right? Like
yeah,
I like my parents were not there and stuff. So
yeah.
for me, if I have my family right now in whichever country I am, I'm happy. But I think those are the basic difficult things. Sometimes the accent, sometimes the certain nuances, if they have any like, cultural things and stuff. But other than that, to be very honest, I don't think I have found anything very challenging so far in any of these countries.
And that's what way I asked the question as well because everyone goes, oh, when I work with people like, oh, I'm gonna move to a new place and it's so hard. I was like, is it hard because you're making it hard and because you're so stuck in your way that you are?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. One of my good friends, not anymore, one of my friends, he went to South Korea for the very first time, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I was so excited for him. I was in my 20s, and he was like, I'm so nervous. And I was like, why? He's like, do they have toilets? What am I going to eat? I was like, what are you talking about? And when he came back, I said, well, how did you enjoy the food? Did you enjoy it? It's like, I ate McDonald's every day. I'm like, what? Why did you do that? It's like, oh, because I just didn't trust the food. I was like, so different
Oh,
people, different strokes, different people. But it is, like you said before, and I love what you said, when you are at someone else's country or their home, you live by their rules. You're under their roof. So you go, right, cool, this is it. And it reminds me when the first time I went to India, my dad called me and said to me, hey, you Prajesh, you're going from New Zealand to India. It is what it is. You have to accept it. You're going to see things that you don't like to see. You're going to smell things you don't like to smell. You cannot change it. You just have to accept it. And I think that was one of the biggest pieces of advice that I got, because when I got there, I just accepted it. Because otherwise I would have my logical mind would go like, oh, it's so dirty here. It's so small. Oh, why is it like this here? But as you say, you just accept it as it is and you enjoy it, enjoy it.
yeah. No, that's the thing, right? That's the reason I didn't find places where it was like, for example, Bangladesh, right? It's very different culture, very different ways of working. They have prayers during the office times, which is fair because that's what day it is. So the key is for me is like, all right, I'm going there. You, if this is how you work, this is how you work. I'm not here to change you.
Yeah,
You do your stuff and I'll adapt to it.
yeah, that's right. Talk about adapting. I'm going to talk about your role into speaking because this is where we cross paths, and you have done some really beautiful things in that world there, and also the corporate politics. Why has corporate politics been something that is passionate to you because you want to make a change in that space there? What is the reason? It could just be like, oh, okay, cool, you can just do your thing, but I'm here because I want to change the way people look at it.
Yeah. See, the thing is that like I said, when I realized that I can speak well, I can communicate and I can talk, two things I've learned over last 2 decades now is number one is that there's a lot of people who are very good with technical, right? So they're those brainy chaps. And let's face it, 80% of the people who get into IT are brainy chaps. Okay, they're
Yeah,
much smarter, they are technically sound, well educated, heavy duty people in their heads, but they just don't know how to put it out there, right? They do not know how to showcase the work. They do not know how to climb the corporate ladder without getting older, right?
yeah,
Then there is this, in India we called it as the babu. That's a mindset. Okay, the mindset, there are group of people who have this mindset of authority, so they will get into a position of leadership and they will stick their ass forever, and they will start their autocratic way of behavement, right? And I have personally witnessed this as well. So, like for example, in one of my projects, there was one of the team leaders who's equal in my like. So I'm a project manager. He's a tech lead of the project. We're talking 43 odd people team, and he's at the same level designation as me. I'm just a project manager. People, he's the tech, right? But he had a fuse in his head. So anytime something goes wrong, stop. And he used to actually shout at people. And because I was very new to the project management role, I was shit scared. All right. 7 people resigned in that project. And,
wow,
and then when the feedback came, of course, I said I didn't do well. I'm also scared. But then what I realized is that so we kicked him out. The company decided to take him out of the project, not the company, but project. And then when I spoke to the team members, they said that Amit, you didn't step up. You're the manager. You're supposed to do it. And that's where I realized that, oh my God, there's many things, I have to do as well. So what I realized is that office politics all boils like this. One of my team members said that, Amit, he was shouting on me, so I shout on others. So what's wrong about it? I'm like, oh, all right,
uh,
that's a
mhm.
fair thing.
Yeah,
Because you were treated bad, now you treat bad so that
yeah,
you become balanced.
yeah,
So the point here is that it's not right. Correct.
yeah,
So when it's not right, it has to start from within as well. So first, I speak up. I should know what it is. Then I'm like, all right, this is a weak point. Okay, let me go and help people who want to climb up. Then we need to also, things can't be done nicely because it doesn't happen.
yeah,
Human beings are very, very weird, everyone. So it's very difficult to know what's going on in your brain or my brain right now.
yeah,
So I need to know how to do things diplomatically as well, right? So with all of this, I realized that, hey, I am helping people. I was part of PMI as well, doing some trainings and stuff. So why not now shift from a bit of technical side, that is in the project management side, to the people side? That's where in 2020, I started with this communication leadership, basically office politics. So helping people who can't, who are very technical, who do not know how to present, what to present. And the other thing is, just last point, is that there are a lot of, when technical people sometimes present, they literally bore you to death with their presentations. And the senior management will then tell me, Amit, can you summarize this for me? And I do that. Now, who will get the kudos? I.
mhm, yeah,
So when I get promoted, this person gets hated. But come on, you have to upskill yourself, right? So
yeah,
unintentionally. It's like, it's not intentionally, I'm sorry. Sometimes it just happens
Yeah,
because the person who can showcase things well is the one who puts the front foot.
yeah. And this is so true. And the reason I ask this question is because as we now know in the world of AI, those technical skills will now be, AI can do it. I mean, no to a certain level,
Yep.
but communication is going to be really, really important. And I love what you said there. The switch at that point in time for you was, yes, the person did the job, but they couldn't communicate it. You can communicate it, therefore you get all the acknowledgement. And how many times that happened out there for so many people, and that person's getting angry at you, but it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's them, right? So it's really beautiful, and I love how you are now taking that to go. Actually, this is not okay. It's how do we change the skills? So there's two things that spoke about the communication, but also the office politics, because both are really ingrained, especially in bigger corporates and bigger companies, where you can't communicate, or you have someone who can't manage office politics. Because I experienced this as well. Just because you're a manager or a leader of manager doesn't mean you can manage.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, and I see this in academia. Where I don't know if you worked in academia, but in academia, where someone is a fantastic researcher and they're fantastic researcher, and then by default they become head of department, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to be head of department," but this is what they have to do because they're being they're being promoted by the university, but in their minds they're being demoted because now they're taking away from what they really love into
Yeah.
managing people. And as we know, not everyone loves managing people.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? And you're absolutely, that's the nail on the head because a lot of people, when they do good technical work, they then get promoted. And when they get promoted for their technical skills, but now they have a team under them.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, now I have to take care of this and these people. And yeah, they don't know how to do it.
yeah. And it's really interesting how the world works like that there. The promotion when the world works like that there, which is crazy,
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, I'd love to see how you're going to shuffle that up there with your office politics revolution. And you spoke about you making an impact. And when we think about the impact, if you had to pick an audience, who's the audience that you'd like to make an impact to? Is there a specific group of people that you got? These are my people that I want to impact.
I have defined my group as a person, a corporate going male or female. So
Yeah,
it's not gender biased. Someone who is at least 5, 7 years into the world now. So not in the freshers group.
yeah,
So if you're into 7 years plus and up to 20 years is what I generally work with. So they are mostly the tech leads, the project managers, the senior project managers, the AVPs, VPs, up to a director level. So I don't
yeah,
work with C exec folks. Now, that's a different thing that my clients have climbed it and are now in C exec position. But
yeah,
when they joined me, they were not.
yeah,
So the reason I like to work with them is because they are those, they are those sandwich group who are crushed between the top management and the bid, and they're in the middle layer right now. And it's very difficult to show what and how, what are my capabilities, because you have to manage down, you have to manage up, and they feel they are crushed.
yeah.
So I work with those people.
And again, I'm smiling because there's a bit of an analogy to the whole. I think we find in most industries, the middle is the one that suffers the most. And I think about in education, you have students that are excelling, they get everything. Students that are not excelling, they get everything. The ones in the middle,
Yeah.
like, oh, whatever. The C student, okay, whatever, they're fine. And the same thing for you. The middle managers are your C, they're just, okay, cool, you just do your thing. But they have to operate in this constraint where they're like managing both and there's nothing for them.
Yeah. And think about it like, so even if I take it in the economy section, so we're not talking about the very poor people and we're not
Yeah,
talking about the filthy rich guys. We're talking about the real tax paying people. Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
That's what my clients are most of the time.
Yeah, no, it's really, really, and it's true because we forget about the middle. We forget about there's an assumption that the middle is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. And Amit, one of the things that I really like about everything that you do is you're very authentic with what you put out there. And the reason I say that's really why I like it is because sometimes it's really hard to be authentic in the world where you can get pulled on very, very quickly. And how do you navigate that there? Because you're out there, you're telling people your story, you're putting your stuff there, um, and you're probably going to have people that are haters as well. How does Amit deal with that there?
So I think a few things that I'm very mindful about is what do I put out there? So if there is something that is a little hyped up for me, I try not to put out there because the amount of time spent in justification is just way too much for my head. So that's where I'm a little afraid of.
Yeah,
So, and yes, there are haters, obviously. Interestingly, I check every Instagram wherever the message comes. Okay. So recently, a guy mentioned that, oh, this is all fake on one of my ads. And I'm like, okay, so what exactly is it fake? So I asked him, hey, you never connected with me. Why? And the reason is it's not to justify myself, it's more from understanding why that person thought is a fake. And after chatting with him, I actually chatted with him and I realized that he has joined something, he was not happy. So he put me label, correct? So so that's where I told him that, hey, you know what, blah, 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 this is what I do and stuff. So I think the key is for me is the content is created by me. So there are people who post it on my behalf, but it's me who validates it. That's number one. So I want to make sure that it's not hyped to a point where even I can't justify it. It
yeah,
looks fake to me. Secondly, is that it has to be as authentic as possible. So for me, I'll be very transparent. I don't want to get into the $1 billion group or anything. Okay. I don't want to. I'm happy with a certain level of earning. So whatever is the basic earnings, for example, if I am earning 20% more than that, I'll be happy person. So I don't have this greed of having hundreds and hundreds of people join my program. I don't.
yeah,
I'm happy with tens and I'm happy with those few numbers because I'm at that stage in my life that, yeah, I don't want billions. It's okay. I don't want to be in the next billionaire list or whatever.
yeah. And sometimes this is a an ode to authenticity because it's about quality, not quantity. You see some people. I know. I mean, we both know programs where it just explodes, and as they explode, it loses it. You know. Yeah, I think about the training I did when I did my training with NLP masters. There was a group of 20 of us. Really intimate, really great, really you get to know everyone. And now the organization that does the training has 200, 300 people. I'm like, how do you? It's great for them. They're making tons of money, but how do you connect?
Exactly. No, I made that conscious decision. And I think the person, so I forgot his name, Daniel. Uh, he's the one who wrote the famous books as well. So, oh, come on, I forgot his name. But yeah, so 52 assets or something. Daniel Priestley.
Daniel Presley, yep.
Daniel Priestley, he's a very famous author, right? So
Yes.
I when I was watching his video, I saw one of the clips where he said that, he has created a group like how you can be into your hundreds and then, into a basic millions and then blah. And he said that there's a point in life which is good enough for you, which is like a team of 10 to 12 people. You are getting into your first bit of millions and that's pretty much it. That would suffice, and then comes the company and all that. So I
Yep.
think that resonated with me a lot much, that okay, 10, 12 people in a team is good enough and I'm satisfied.
Yeah, that's really, really beautiful. Amit, you've spoken about about your work and who you are and all that. How does Amit relax?
Oh.
How do you relax?
Yeah, that's so I relax. I think about how do I relax because I think for me, I love to read. Okay, that's weird, but I love to read. So I have books all the time, whether be it in Audible, Kindle, or physical. There's much books than what you see here. I've
Yeah.
got like 153 physical books with me right now, and more than 70, 80 Audible and Kindle. So I that's relaxing for me because I just love to. Audible lets me listen. Second, relaxing is music. I
Yeah.
love it. So that relaxes me. Third, or I'm sorry, let's plan it this way. The first relaxing is with my son,
Yeah.
because we play together. So be it, or most importantly, we watch certain YouTube channels together. So it's generally tech reviews like Mr. Who's the Boss, or things like that. So that's our relaxing time. The second is with of course, with my family, where we play board games. So
Oh,
we love
wow.
to
Yeah.
play board games, sitting down and playing it, or cards.
Yeah.
That happens. Uh, then comes the reading, of course, and music, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I would love to add gym to my relaxation, but yeah, I love it. Here's the best part. When I go to gym, I feel like, oh my God, that was the best thing to happen. But getting up and going there, yeah. So let's not, let's add this into the bucket list for me.
Exactly. One day. But the reason I asked that question is because there's a lot of people out there doing lots of things there. And it's important for us to know actually you're not on the go all the time. You know, people see versions
Yeah.
of it and go, but so hey, I actually relax with I take time with my son. Playing board games is an art. Lots of people don't play board games anymore. They watch it because it's actually physically but left out. It's not a device. It's physical. It's connection. And reading is a loss, is an art that people are losing. And I was again, like you, I like to read a lot, and I have just finished reading the Almanac of Naval Ravikant, and in there he just talks about reading. He just says reading is, and what he says there as well, he doesn't. You don't have to finish the book. He goes, you can start reading it, and if you don't like the book, just stop. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And I'll show you what I do basically is, uh, so when I read or I go through anything, so I create like these story cards, right? So I have these with me all the time. Like these are all filled, and there are two such boxes that are filled. So every time I read something and I write it on the top here. So
Yeah.
that's a leadership tag. So that's persuasion or whatever. So it can be anything, but this is what I do. So that this way I have certain bit of notes and stuff collected. And when I hopefully write my third book, I will get ready.
Thank you for reminding me because this is one thing when we did one of our mentoring sessions, you spoke about that, and I remember that because I have a notebook and I carry it with me everywhere. But that is really powerful. And was this taught to you? Was this, or have you always been writing stuff as you read?
uh Sorry, what do you
You
ask?
know,
Did I?
the question was, how you write. You have those notepads everywhere you go, and you spoke about that in one of our group mentoring sessions about how you write and you have them with you everywhere you go. And it got me thinking lots of people that are doing well in their lives have a notepad or they write stuff down. Was this something you picked up from someone, or was it someone innately in Amit's life?
I think I picked this from Ryan Holiday's book, Note Taking System, right? So
Yeah.
I also realized that there is something called a Zettelkasten ways of taking notes. And then I started researching on it and I found out. Then there's another guy called as Ali Abdal who had been into productivity a lot. But I think it was mostly either Ryan Holiday or even Ryan Holiday's mentor, which is Robert Greene,
Yeah.
right? So I love Robert Greene's book, like 48 Laws of Power and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I used to watch YouTube videos of that, that's where I realized that how these work. And story cards basically came because I work in IT. So I work in Agile. And in Agile, this is back in 2010, we used to use physical cards. You
Yeah.
write something at the back, you write something, and you go and put it physically. And that fascinated me. And then when I realized that I can buy them, I'm like, all right, I'll buy a bunch. And then I
Yeah.
learned from Ran and these people on how they tack it. Like tag it and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea.
Yeah, and I love we ended up there because that's such a beautiful skill to have and to take away. It's you know, whether you write stuff or it becomes visceral when you write things down, becomes real.
Yeah,
I also
yeah.
I also noticed when you went to get the storyboard, a big picture of Einstein behind you.
Oh yes.
Yeah, is Einstein a someone in your world that you
Yeah,
look?
I loved like remember I said so when I was doing physics, I was very fascinated the theory of relativity. That's all. Very much. I he's a brainy chap. We know that, right? I think this I got it from New Zealand, by the way.
Oh
So I
yeah,
was in Auckland, and I think we were in those one of those museums, the Science Museum, and I think there. And I liked the poster, and I got it because it's very colorful,
it is.
and there's a lot. All the quotes are mentioned here as well. On both the sides.
Yeah.
So I thought it's a very good banner. Or maybe it will also vibrate some good thing.
Either way, right? Either way, it's not going to be good for you, right?
Yeah, I know. Maybe. So I'm hoping for that.
Oh, no, no, beautiful. I love it. And I love because there's so many facets in your life that we've only touched on a little bit, but it's really, the beautifulness of your story, your origin story, I guess, the physics, the dumb student, the leadership. It's all what I love about it. It for our listeners and our viewers, you don't have to be one thing. You can be a lot of things and you can find your thing in amongst all that there. Like Ikigai, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I think the most important thing is that we do not know what's going to happen. So it's not good to just label yourself right now.
Yeah,
So stick around. Things are bad. I get it. You have tried a lot. Nothing's working. I get it. But just
yeah,
don't label it yet.
yeah. That's
So,
right. Yeah, and it's really it's because um things are good or bad, right? Life is happening to us, but life is happening. Life is going to happen.
yep,
If you die today, life will happen. If you stay in your bedroom today, the traffic will still be out there. They'll still be happening. So it depends on how you, as you say, how you approach life. Yes, there's bad things happening in life. There's good things happening in life. It's how you approach those things there.
yep, yep. And
Yeah,
and to that point, I always had this thought of there was a many times in my life where, because when my father passed away, we were like in a homeless state because my house was mortgaged. There's a lot of things
yeah,
happening. So and then my mother wasn't working either, so it was just me. But many times there had been like then my mother got cancer, we came to know last stage and stuff, she came out of that again, and then eventually she passed away. All I have learned is that at any given point of time there's only two choices that you have, just two choice. A, that you go and kill yourself, like end it, or B, continue. So I chose to continue. And now, when you have chosen to continue, don't continue like, you did a favor on somebody. All
yeah,
right. So, like, my mother was very strict to point me on this. Like, at age 16, when I used to go to work and come back and feel tired or something, and she used to say that, hey, you know what? You're not doing favor to me. It's just part of the life. And I'm
yeah,
like, "Okay, that's fair." So, yeah. So if you're chosen to live, well, then at least be nice, or do the things
yeah.
that don't act as if you're doing a favor to somebody.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And again, I love how it's come right back to what I said at the start. The choices code that we have. When you're born, you look like your parents, and then when you die, you look like the choices that you made. And as you said before, when you start making those choices, you're either choosing to live
Yep,
or you're not choosing to live. And when you're choosing to live, it's not for favor, it's because you're choosing making that choice.
exactly.
Beautiful. I love it. Amit, we've been talking for almost an hour or so. There's so much we can delve into. The time has just flown. And there was a reason why I wanted to join here because there's so much you've shared today, which is really beautiful, and I'm sure listeners will enjoy and learn a lot. But before we go, we have a tradition with our podcast. Our podcast is called Baskets of Knowledge, and we invite our guests to share a piece of knowledge to put into our basket. You've obviously shared a lot today, but is there any particular piece of knowledge we can put into our basket from any part of your life?
I'll say the same thing that I just said earlier, is that your current situation is not the final situation. Your current situation is just there. There is a dialogue that I always keep in my head, because just a year ago, last year, I was in the very bad situation when it comes to financials. Okay, no job, horrible place, too much of debt. There's one line that had cleared me through, and the line is, "This too shall pass." Now, it works both ways, though. If you're in a good place right now, remember, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
If you're in a bad place, this too shall pass. So, A, don't get into egoistic place. B, don't overspend. All right? Because this too shall pass.
What a wonderful, wonderful way to close the podcast. This too shall pass. It's a reminder that it works both ways. And because too many times we focus on, oh, this is a bad thing, it's going to pass. But also the good things pass, because life is just the current situation. Beautiful, Amit. Beautiful, beautiful. Any last words before we close off, Amit?
So, just one small thing. So, I would
Sure.
give my ebook to all of your guests. So,
Oh,
that's
fantastic.
Circus book, and I'll send the link for the ebook so that you can, pass it to everyone, give it a read, let me know how it was, and that's a small thank you from my side to your listeners.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Just, you want to give it a bit of a plug? What is it about, so that our listeners know what they're going to be getting?
So basically, the corporate circus is all about how do you handle your day-to-day stuff. So you will find around 8 chapters in it, which is very practical. You can pick up any chapter at any point. So it talks about body language, voice, written, how do you handle conflicts, meetings, presentations, and storytelling. So it talks about that. It is actually the things that I teach in my program as well, written down as it is. Okay. So you will have everything. There are barcodes as well for you to scan and grab the PDF so you can implement it.
Amazing. What a fantastic gift. We'll put that in the show notes. So for our listeners out there, this is a great gift, because like we said before, communication is going to be really important now as the world progresses the way. If you can communicate, things will change for you. I was at a training the other day, and I wrote down something and said, the person that asks the best questions controls the conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is it. This is very true. This is the way the world goes. Think about any prompting, all about questioning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amit, thank you so much for your time today. It is Father's Day today, so thank you for spending your time with us today. I've learned a lot about you. I'm sure our guests will have learned a lot about you, and also taken away some real beautiful pieces of wisdom. We'll put that ebook in the show notes. We'll also put any ways to connect in the show notes as well. For our listeners out there, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you found something interesting. If you haven't, it's because you fell asleep. Go back and listen again, because there's so many gems in here. Until next time, everybody, don't forget to keep safe, keep smiling, and like Amit said, choice. You have choice, and you're not in anyone a favor if you think that you are living just because. So take care. Bye, everybody. Peace, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Baskets of Knowledge.
Yeah, we hope that you found something useful to put into your basket of knowledge. And as we said before, remember to put something little into your baskets of knowledge every week. And as always, feel free to like, comment, and share this podcast. Thanks, everybody. Bye.